Today is another video about one of F1's top racers, Max Verstappen. We'll go over some facts you might not have known before and reveal what F1 bosses really think of Max Verstappen. Stay with us through the video to know all about the goings-on with him. Now let's dive right in without any more delays. Verstappen and who he is. Verstappen, who entered Formula 1 as the sport's youngest participant ever at barely 17 years old, pushed his vehicle, his competitors, and the sport's record books to the utmost. With his natural racing style, the babyface Dutch native with the heart of a lion grabbed the Toro Rosso and subsequently the Red Bull by the horns. At the age of 18 years, as well as 228 days, F1's youngest point scorer quickly became the sport's youngest race winner after making his Red Bull debut in Barcelona in 2016. A real wheel-to-wheel racer, he continued to garner praise with a remarkable drive in Brazil that brought him from the rear of the field to the podium on a perilous wet circuit. Verstappen has occasionally run afoul of his peers and employers due to his no-holds-barring attitude and aggressive defending. The bravado and power that make him a highly anticipated talent, however, have remained, and the victories have continued to come, culminating in his first F1 driver's title following that one already iconic final encounter with Lewis Hamilton in the last year of 2021. The mistakes that initially hurt his potential, however, have given way to maturity. As the son of former Formula 1 driver Jos Verstappen and lightning-fast karting mother Sophie Kumpen, racing is in his blood. Verstappen still has a tight relationship with his family, despite leaving his father's home to live in Monaco. He isn't hesitant to express his thoughts, yet he can still be rather reserved. With enormous hopes for the next generation's shining star after becoming the first Dutch world champion at the age of just 24, Verstappen gives off the impression that everything is possible. However, there have been some public hate opinions about him. Let's see why and who were the real people behind making them while directing those comments towards the supposed Max in the racing Max Verstappen. Keep following because we're about to dive even deeper. Never nice to hear boos. Silverstone's opening day was undoubtedly exciting as Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton excelled, but it was strange to watch the British spectators during Red Bull driver and world champion Max Verstappen. Although it was anticipated that the Dutch driver would face hostility at Silverstone, Red Bull team boss Christian Horner noted that it's never pleasant to hear jeers for any drivers. He did, however, offer some insight into Verstappen's response to the lack of assistance. Of course, Lewis will have a lot of support here. We have a home race in Austria the next weekend, and I have no doubt that 30,000 Dutch fans will be there to support us in a big way. That is conflict. It's never pleasant to hear boos for a driver, and it's odd for the British Grand Prix fans to do so because they often show appreciation for all drivers, but you know what? He accepts it. I don't mind that Lewis is the Red Bull team's preferred driver in this situation, the team manager remarked. Max Verstappen, a world champion, evaluates his performance on Friday at Silverstone. The three-time championship winner is not a racist, according to Verstappen, who stressed on this point. Piquet and the Red Bull driver are close, and the latter may know Piquet better than others. I've spent some time with Nelson, and I can say without a doubt that he is not a racist. Nelson is actually a genuinely lovely and laid-back guy. Although there are two possible interpretations of the words in a sentence, I still believe it's best to avoid using it. It's not just about the word. It's improper to use harsh words toward anyone, regardless of their color, Verstappen remarked. That goes out to everyone in the globe, not just Lewis in particular. Christian Horner, Verstappen is certainly not unbeatable. With his third victory of the year last weekend at the Spanish Grand Prix, Max Verstappen got the lead in the 2022 Formula 1 Championship. Christian Horner, the team manager for Red Bull, is confident that the current world champion is not unbeatable nevertheless. The Dutchman has won every race this season in which he has crossed the finish line, but Horner is indeed very clear that his rivals at Ferrari are capable of posing a significant threat. The British athlete reportedly stated, Max Verstappen is definitely not invincible, as quoted by Racing News 365. The competition is fierce. We had our ups and downs. Every race we achieved was performed to the utmost limit. Charles Leclerc and Max's race today would have been incredibly interesting, so it's a shame we missed it. It demonstrates how swiftly things can alter. We were 40 points down after Australia, and now after a few races, we're 6 points ahead. Ferrari drives a quick vehicle, thus the points advantage can change once more soon. And considering the number of points left for grabs, I'm not writing out Mercedes either. The Monaco Grand Prix will indeed be exciting now that Mercedes is back off the track. Max is driving very well, and Sergio Perez seems to be doing a terrific job, but I anticipate that this season's competition will be quite intriguing. With the second 1-2 finish of the year, Red Bull has moved ahead of Ferrari by 26 points in the Constructors' standings. Even though Max Verstappen finished first in Barcelona, the race was clearly difficult for him to begin with. Charles Leclerc not only got off to a strong start from the pole during the race, but he also held a commanding lead before his vehicle eventually ran out of fuel and had to be retired. The 24-year-old driver acknowledged Red Bull has a performance deficit to close at the post-race press conference, particularly in light of Ferrari's enhancements from the previous weekend. Ferrari, had a very strong weekend, and we obviously need to improve, remarked Verstappen. Particularly in one-lap performance, we must improve. However, I believe that because of how early in the race we were, it was a little challenging to determine the precise size of the advantage, because I don't even remember what lap I started, and it was very early on, and after that, we stopped using it as a reference. You understand. We must constantly get better. But after this weekend, it's clear that with all the improvements they brought, they undoubtedly made progress. Therefore, it's now up to us to attempt to narrow that margin once more. A better vision of the whole situation. After Charles Leclerc of Ferrari made a costly error and crashed out while leading the race, Max Verstappen of Red Bull dominated the French Grand Prix on the Sunday and made significant progress toward winning his second Formula One championship. In his 300th race, 7-time Grand Slam champion Lewis Hamilton came in second for Mercedes, and teammate George Russell took third to give them their first podium sweep of the season. Verstappen's victory at Le Castellet on a scorching afternoon was his 7th of the year and 27th overall. He now leads closest competitor Leclerc by a significant 63 points, or more than 2 race victories, with 10 rounds still to go. The 24-year-old Dutchman, who had triumphed at the Southern Circuit Paul Ricard the previous year, stated, "I felt we had really excellent pace from the beginning. I was putting more pressure on Charles. With this heat following around here, the tires are scorching a lot, so I couldn't really try for a move, only once." Verstappen trailed Leclerc by a comfortable margin after starting from pole, but it took him 6 circuits to catch up and make a move. Leclerc had an opportunity around the corners and was able to stay just out of reach, even though he was drawing closer to him on the straightaways. Verstappen took his first pit stop as the Ferrari then seemed to be pushing away, but with some anxiety about tire wear. On lap 18, everything started to change. After his car flipped mid-corner and crashed into the tire barriers at the 11th turn, Lou Busset, the Ferrari driver, yelled over the radio in wrath and frustration. The Monegasque, who was in pain but otherwise healthy, placed all the burden on himself. And that's all we have for you guys in today's video. Do be sure to like and share your comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel as well as turn on the notification bell to be on time for our next video. Until then, stay safe and well, fam.